So what's your podcast about?
Okay, this is making me feel really uncomfortable. Not like it. Is my mic on? Okay. Well then, let's go.
For my ears, and like you said a few things before, which I'm gonna listen on a playback, but like it made me think of that, and I was just like, wow.
Well, that's definitely a perfect segue, actually, because I was thinking about it when we were talking about God and about how you don't have either of your parents here on the physical plane anymore, at least. So I'm curious about how that because when we talked about God and like, you know, how like sometimes we're just the petulant child with the peas and whatever,
Yeah.
you know, like I'm curious about how that has changed your relationship with God now that you don't have your, you know, your parents here, you know, on this earthly plane anymore, because, you know, you and I have talked before, like my dad's elderly, he's going to be 85 this year. And I'm like, I'm afraid, you know, I know death is a part of life and it's going to happen, but like when he's gone, I'm gonna, not in a bad way, but I'm gonna be like you, like I'm gonna feel like an orphan, like, you know, I'm a 40-year-old orphan, like what, like,
Yeah.
you know, like it doesn't matter how old you are, like when you don't have one or both of your parents here, like for me, I can speak for myself, like, you know, I haven't had my mom for most of my adult life, you know, she died when I was 22, and I still feel like a kid in a lot of ways because of that. Like I still feel like I'm like not an adult, like because I don't have my mom here. Like my mom is supposed to be here. Like, you know, she's supposed to be here until like I'm an old lady, you know? So I'm curious, in your experience, like how is losing both of your parents, you know, in sobriety, how is that in recovery? How has that changed your relationship with God?
It's an evolving thing. What happens is that like my parents dying was an experience, and as I move through it, and as I grow as a person and I experience life and holidays and who I am. So like John, I lost my dad in 2017 and my mom in 2022, very beginning. And so like those two, you know, all these years has just been different, has just been growing. And also the relationships I had, like I was just sharing that with someone else. I said yesterday at a meeting, my buddy, he lost his mom, and we were talking, and I just mentioned that when my dad died, who I was closer with, I didn't cry. But when my mom died, who like I was estranged from, I cried for her, and I didn't expect to. I always used to tell people like, I'm not gonna cry for this woman's funeral because I don't know who she is. But and I believe now that I cried. I didn't cry for my dad because we had a great relationship, and I was so fulfilled. And I cried for my mom, not because I did everything I could. I sent her text messages. I reached out to her. She did reach out. Like she just wasn't very communicative. Like I would have wished more. But so my side of the street is perfect for me. Like I feel totally okay with it. But I just feel sad because she had a hard, miserable life, I felt. And like she had a lot of demons. So it's a lot to unpack because when a parent dies, there's also a lot of benefits. So like, you know, when we lose a parent, they'll never get sick again. You never have to worry about them. You don't have to, you know, they're not, there's nothing no more that there's anything. You don't have, like, you know, a lot of the stress, there's no stress on that part. So there's a lot of benefits that come from like, they're at peace, they're free, like, you know, and what they say that the only pain is the one that the person who's left behind feels because the other person doesn't have any pain because they're gone. There's no pain for them. They're free. They're let out of this, you know, we miss them. So we have the pain. So, it definitely, everyone's different. I've seen people go into depressions as they got older. You know, my sister was saying that she was like a 50-year-old orphan. Like you said 40s. Like she said, like, I lost both my parents and like I'm a 50-year-old orphan. And, you know, that's exactly how she felt about it. So I would have to say that I definitely am both growing through missing them and being sad, and for some people it gets better, but I'm not some people, like I'm me, like it definitely is a mixture of like depression but also relief. I see my friends, my buddy's mom has to go through she has a air tank, oxygen tank. Another, I remember with Kevin Cross when he was alive, he said his mom, I think his mom had dementia or something. Like I know a lot of people with dementia going through dementia, like they have to take care. I know a lot of people taking care of their parents.
Yeah.
And like I don't have to do that. I don't have to worry about that. Like that's a big huge thing that I don't have to have an extra thing on my plate. So yeah, it is part of this life, but I do not believe that that's part of the original design. That's my faith. That's my personal faith that this was not supposed to be this way, and that's why in the Bible it said the shortest line in English is Jesus wept. That's the shortest line. And Jesus cried because his friend Lazarus had died. So, when he went, he was crying. Even though he eventually he raised Lazarus in the same story, like he raised Lazarus from the death, but he cried because Lazarus, his sister, and whatever, like they were crying. All his friends, everybody was crying. So he cried with them. He was with them. He was like close. He showed emotion. Like, I like the belief in Jesus. Like I said, it's a belief that an individual has to come to themselves. So this is where I share my joy and my belief that I love the idea of God coming to earth. I love that idea that God became a human to show me that he knows what I feel. And I don't know what I don't know. I didn't go through the pain Jesus did. Matter of fact, Jesus was homeless. So he didn't have no place to. He says, even the foxes have a hole have a burrow to stay in, and the rabbits or something have a place to stay. He goes, I have no place to lay my head. So he had no place to live, and towards the end of his ministry, he trusted God. He said, "Don't worry." He got fed. He got food, and he cried. And he actually, a lot of the stories that you hear, their stories, they were at like big events. So they were parties. Like when he turned water into wine, I'm sure you heard that. That was a wedding. So he actually was at so many parties. So to think about it, if God was going to so many parties, that means he had to be funny. Like that's a cool concept. Like I love that idea that like, wow, like God was funny. Can you imagine like you're at a party and you're like with God? Like what kind of jokes is he saying? Like what kind of like things is he saying that is gonna be like, like whoa. And he got mad. There's a term called flipping tables. He went into the temple and he saw everybody was selling whatever they wanted and rob, like just basically just being conniving in a church, in the temple, in the house of God. And he was filled with anger, and he flipped tables and he whipped people, and he did it righteously. Like to think that God laughs and he cries and he gets angry and like whoa, like he's like I'm created in his image. So I think that, again, going back to the parent part, he mourns and he knows what I feel. So he knows that I'm depressed. I get depressed over it, and that he knows that there's deep sadness within me, and there's also deep joy. Like I said, when I got better, new freedoms, new anxieties. They just go hand in hand.
Yeah, I was about to ask, kind of going along that stuff. I know that when we think about death, we think about the pain and the heartache and the loss. Loss isn't even the right word. I don't like that word loss. Because it's not like I lost it under the bed. Like the person is
where'd you go?
gone. Yeah, like, where'd you go?
Where are my keys?
Where's Kimmy? Kimmy, my cat, where are you? I lost you. I would never lose her. But,
She'll find you.
I think you were about to touch on what I was going to ask about, which is, also the good things that come out of death, and the good things that come out of the death of a close loved one. When I think about my mom passing away, like me and my sisters got super close after that. We were already close, but we got super close after that because we were all mourning the loss of our mom. We were like, this kindred, because we are kindred, we're our kin. We were these kindred spirits together, going through this experience together, and like every time like a big event happens, like when my niece Grace was born, her middle name is Ellen, my mom's name was Ellen, going through the births of all the nieces and nephews and going through the weddings, going through me buying my first place on my own, there's all these kind of like, it's kind of like, when you pull the Band-Aid off, you're like, ow, that hurts a little bit. Like, that's how it kind of feels. Like, there's acceptance at this point, obviously that she's been passed for, a very long time. But, the fact that I get to feel that sting of pulling the Band-Aid off is like a gift, that I still get to feel that like this person is an important part of my life still because of these little moments that come up, whether it's watching Stepmom, the movie Stepmom, or the movie The Family Stone during the holidays, which is usually the movie I watch when I'm feeling sad and I'm thinking about my mom, because she loved Christmas and she was born around Christmas, so whether it's like that or when I see like a frog, I got you a frog pin, and frogs are my, my mom's favorite animal. So when I see frogs, when Liam Rimes comes on the radio randomly, my mom's a big Liam Rimes country kind of fan, like these are little things that like, I'd rather feel the stings, the Band-Aids pulling off than not feel anything at all.
Yeah, because you miss her.
Yeah.
So it's like a bittersweet type of pain because it's still pain, but it's like a good pain.
It's the best kind of chocolate bittersweet. So yeah, it's like, it's like a bittersweet.
So I heard a lot of my when I lost my father, I was much older, but I was sad, and then I remember that this guy that was going to meetings, he shared that he lost his father when he was 16, and I was like, oh wow, like I got more than double that time. I was like, so when you lose somebody younger, it just made me more grateful. See, I didn't have to see. That made me more grateful. Mm-hmm. So the pain for you could say, since you lost your mom at a very young age, it doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away.
Or does it evolve? Or does
it evolves. It's instead of it being like this like giant open wound that you think will never close and never heal, like now it's just like a scar. Like, I see the scar, and sometimes the scar gets itchy, maybe when it's like raining or whatever, or what have you. So it's like, the pain is, the pain is always there, just kind of changes, it kind of becomes one with you. Like instead of like it's you and the pain, ooh, and now you're kind of one with the pain, especially when you get to experience these moments that she doesn't get to experience on the earthly plane, at least, because I definitely believe she's like around and watching and that kind of stuff. I believe in, something happens after you die, like I believe in that, what happens, I don't know, but at least something happens, and just seeing like these personality traits in my niece and my nephews, like, I'm like, oh my God, my mom would love that. She would love to see that. Or maybe she's bringing these traits to them, a little download or whatever, I think that's why it was really challenging when, I met my first like long-term boyfriend like the year after my mom died, and the other year after my mom died, and obviously that was like very new still, and I just like, I was also like, I got a job eventually, but I was trying to find work, after grad school, and like I'm taking care of my like, my dad who doesn't know anything about dealing with grief, and like just goes right to anger, and like he was like upset at the dog. The dog was dying because that was her dog, and I believe our animals can feel when our presence is gone, and she went downhill really quickly. So I was doing all that and trying to date. So I met my ex Dan, and like I met his mom who had like similar hair to my mom, and she was a nurse like my mom was, and she loved her dogs, and she was kind of like a I wouldn't say, she didn't care about fashion. She's like my mom's. I felt a lot of my mom in her. So like having her involved in my life for 5 years, after my mom died, and really feeling like a part of the family and stuff. Like, when Dan and I broke up, 5 years later, like I felt like it was like a double sting. So not only am I losing this mother figure in my life, like it's reminding me that I have a mom, like she's not here anymore, but I also believe that I think it's, and we were talking about this off air earlier as well. I think it's important to like, what's more important to me? Being in something, whether it's a relationship, a job, whatever, that like is okay, but it's really not lighting my soul on fire. It's really not challenging me. It's really not like, it's not aligning with who I am and who I want to be, versus being alone when I can like construct my life the way I want to. So it's kind of like, so at that moment, like, I planned to date to marry this person. Like Dan and I were going to get married. Like we were talking about engagement, all that stuff. And after 5 years, it wasn't happening. And like, I was kind of like, what's happening? Like, like, we didn't plan to have kids or anything. Kids were never in the cards for me, but like, I was like, what is happening? Like, we're doing all the things we're supposed to do. Right. And then still like, there was nothing, so I had to be the one to like walk away, and that was really hard for me because I imagined my life with them, just like I imagined my life with my mom for my whole life, right? Like
Yeah.
she'll be here all the time. I imagined my life with this person, so like I feel like every time that I go through a challenging a loss, whether it's the loss of a relationship or someone passing on or whatever, like it's giving me insight into like who do I want to be? Who do I want to be in this relationship, in this job, in this friendship, in this sisterhood, in this, parent-child relationship? Like, who do I want to be? Because if I'm just being in something because, like, society tells me I should be married to this person after 5 years, and I'm just there because of that, like, I stayed in the relationship
yeah.
much longer than I should have, to be honest,
Yeah.
There just was a lot of incompatibilities, in the situation. But, like, I'm grateful. Like, I'm grateful for everything that's happened. All the loves I've had since then, romantically. I'm grateful for dating, even though it sucks. And like I just had to end something, kind of recently with somebody, just because I'm like, oh God, no, I'm doing the whole thing again. The thing of like, oh, I'm comfortable here. And that's enough. I don't want to push them too much because like they're not ready to be who I need them to be. So it's time to, move on, I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of person who in relationships has the tendency to plan everything, do everything, be, plan the dates and reach out and do all that stuff because I'm afraid that they're not going to reciprocate. So I'm just going to go all in, even if it's a terrible, no good, very bad situation like it was right before I got sober. I was in some challenging relationships then. I'm just going to go all in with this person because going all in and then leaving because I burnt myself out feels a lot less devastating than me just chilling and just feeling that rejection and just feeling that like, oh God, like why aren't you meeting me halfway? Like I'm really not that good enough. Like, and taking it personally,
Yeah.
I don't know why we went there, but we're going there. That's where we are right now.
No, this is kind of where the car just kind of drives itself. We just go wherever it leads us. And I think that I know 5 years is a long time. So you put your time in. You went there, you did it, and you made it, I believe, a wise decision. Who knows? At this point, life is so short anyway. I think that's what the deaths have taught me. Like you said, the best part about death is that it reminds me that like I have to live now and I can live outside the box of what society says.
And sometimes that can be a lonely place. We were talking about that as well. Like sometimes living outside the box can be a lonely place.
Yeah.
Within ourselves and also with other people. Like sometimes, I can be lonely in a group of people, but I can also be lonely just being with myself, and with my cat, Kimmy. I don't really feel lonely when I'm around her, but like lonely in the sense of like, lonely versus isolation versus self-care. Like these are all like interesting things that I think about, that like, do I want to spend time by myself because like I'm avoiding my feelings about something, or do I want to spend time with myself because I need to recharge 'cause I'm tired? Because they say that, isolation is dangerous in sobriety, some circles may say that, but I feel like, isolation was, not isolation. I feel like self-care and rest and recovery away from people was so important for me, because I was like a do, go, be, have kind of person, because then I didn't need to sit with myself. So when I actually do take the time to sit with myself now, it's so much more pleasant because I'm able to like, just enjoy being with myself. And if I need to think about something, I think about it. I journal, I meditate, I call somebody if I need to.
Yeah.
I un-isolate if I need to, but I just think it's like, so important because, aside from my higher power, my number one relationship is with myself. And that was never my MO.
Yeah.
7-8 years ago. I thought my number one relationship was that romantic relationship that I was seeking. I thought my number one relationship really was that, honestly. That was my God, seeking a romantic relationship.
Same.
And now that, I'm older, wiser, and arguably hotter, in my opinion, I realized that, being honest about who I am and where I'm going and what I want and walking that path is going to, it's going to be challenging and it's going to be isolating, but also it's going to allow me to allow that right person, whatever that means, but allow the more authentic people to come in my life, and me to be able to be like, like, nope, not that person. Like somebody we were like on Facebook dating, talking, and then we got to the changing numbers part, you know, whatever, and we were talking, but like again, I was initiating the conversation, and I'm like, okay, all right, cool, and then it would stop, and then I would initiate again, and it would stop, and then we didn't talk for 5 days, and the person was like, oh, do you want to still meet up?
5 days.
5 days, exactly. Because I wasn't initiating. And
No.
like, oh, do you want to like get together still for coffee this week? And I was like, I'm like, you know what? I did see that we haven't talked in like 4 or 5 days. So I really don't think I'm interested in meeting with you this weekend. But I really want to wish you well out there.
Yeah.
And, thanks for the opportunity. But like, it's right there, Jamie. Like, am I going to go meet this person just because they invited me out,
Yeah, I think that's what it is. What people need to talk to each other in recovery or just friends in general, because like then you can just say, like, if you told me that, like, I'd have been like, that's absolutely ridiculous. And it's not like I'm co-signing, being on your side. Like, I think anybody would be like, wait, we didn't talk for 5 days and then now you want to go for coffee? Like, I don't think that's cool, and I don't think that's like common. I think if you want to get to know somebody, you'd talk a little more frequent.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be texting
and mutual exchanges, you
Yeah.
initiate, they initiate, like you're excited, you want to ask more, like whatever. There was none of that there.
Like if somebody doesn't show interest, how do you feel that they're interested or know that they're interested?
Exactly.
Then you have to be a mind reader. Then you have to make up stories in your head about the person.
That's the best. Oh, it's the best.
So,
Make
like,
up those stories.
So that's what I'm saying. Like that's pretty normal. Like it's a normal thing. Like now my thing is that people that I talk to, they like people that are interested that I know, like from around the way, they don't like contact me on like, I'm texting them or sending them messages, and like I don't care about double texting, triple that. I don't play that game or whatever. I don't give a crap about that. But like they're just like nothing. And then when I see them in person, they want to talk to me, and I honestly I'm to the point where I don't want to be rude, but like if you want to talk to me at your convenience and not like, like if you see me, like for example, if I didn't see them in public, then we would not talk. But then they see me in public, and now they want to talk, and now they want to like, see what's up.
That's odd. Like that's
an odd thing. I don't want to. I just want to say, hey, how you doing? And then this like then I play it in my head. I think we all do this, right? We all think like, oh, if I see this person now, they're going to say this, then I got to say this. And like, I hate doing that. Like, I think I still have that. So
yeah, we just want people to be real, like all the time. If you're going to text me. If you're going to see me in person, but not doing both of the things, that's weird. It's not manipulative. It just feels like it's not genuine. Yeah, it just feels like it's not genuine.
Like one person recently, they said, "Oh, hey, I saw you. Why didn't you come over and say hi?" And I'm thinking like, because I've been texting you and hitting you up on different things, and you don't like reciprocate. Like, why am I gonna now? I gotta take my time and like.
Did you say that to that person?
No.
I think that would have been an excellent response, personally.
That would have been no. And you know what it is? Like, that's a response that like. I can't text back and forth that. That's something I want to tell you to
exactly,
your
yeah.
You know what I
mean?
mean? Like,
so they saw you and then they texted you. Why didn't you come over and say hi?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, I thought you meant in person.
And I just wrote the truth. I said I left. I mean, the truth was I left. So that was the whole thing. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna like. Yeah, like what you were going through sounds perfectly normal, and your responses, just in my observation, it sounds perfectly a normal response to a normal, like the stimuli is they didn't do this to show anything. So why would you think that, okay, sure. Like, that's cool. Because then you're saying that's cool with you. And if it's cool with you, it's cool with you.
It's cool with you, but that was not cool with me, I think that it's oh, now I lost my train of thought. That's what happens when you turn 40. Like, where's my train? Come back, train. Come back to the station.
No, it's all right.
But yeah, I think it's important just to say what you mean and mean what you say. Like it's important to say what you mean and mean what you say. I feel like a lot of the dating culture out there, it's like you text on the apps and then you text for like a month. I'm like, I don't talk to you for a month. Like, are you gonna like
some girls
pull the trigger and like ask my number or ask me out or whatever? And then there's people like literally somebody in the city was like, want to go to a show on Wednesday? I'm like, I'm like, that was a bold third message to me. I'm not available, but I'd be definitely interested to do that in the future after we get to know each other a little bit, because I don't know who you are, sir. It's
like the porridge.
Yeah.
The porridge is too hot and the porridge is too cold, and you're looking for the Goldilocks.
There's no, I don't know. It's like
porridge.
I'm looking for the needle in the haystack maybe at this point. Like,
I think a lot of dating, like especially in recovery or whatever, like there's a lot of just the dating pool or online dating. Like it gets really hard to, it gets super hard to navigate because like, you know, as far as like, you know, people I've seen online people, like I could tell, I just read a profile and I see like, wow, this girl has been through so much that she's like, I don't have time. Don't waste my time. This, and that. Like people are angry, but I understand that they've been through a lot. And the same thing with me. Like one girl that I was talking to, and I was asking her, like, you know, about like dating and going on a date and this and that, and like we were talking for a couple of days and going back and forth, and then like I'm like trying to like ask her, like, you know, oh, so like, you know, would you want to go on a date or something, and or like, you know, blah blah blah, and like she was saying, yeah, she's like, if you like something like if you pursue me or something, and I'm like, what am I doing?
This is me pursuing
This
you.
is me pursuing you. So I think sometimes
No games.
we talk different languages.
We all speak English, but we don't speak the same language. And sometimes people, for whatever reason, whether it's fear, whether it's they don't have the care or the time, like people people don't ask those clarifying questions. People don't dig in further about like, what do you mean about that? Because like, who wants to feel like rejected by what their response might be, or who wants to feel, you know, like angry because of what their response might be, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just easier to purposely misunderstand each other than to really like find common ground, because guess what? Finding common ground takes work. And some people don't want to do that work. And that used to be me. I didn't want to do that work. I'd just be, oh, la-di-da, everything's fine.
I always give people too much the benefit of the doubt. That's my problem. My problem is like, oh, like they didn't understand, or like, you know, and then if I do that too much, then I do build a little relationship with them. I get upset because I'm like, now I'm in a relationship with someone who just doesn't get me. And it's like, John, they've been telling you this whole time. They didn't really understand, you know, you guys are not on the same frequency, or there's a lot of misunderstanding going on. So, you know.
Yeah, and then instead of like being like, well, this is like a both of us problem. Like for me, I would be like, this is a me problem. Like I'm the reason why they're acting this way.
Yeah.
I'm the reason why, you know, like this is working out the way it is. I'm the bad picker, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Which part of that is definitely true. However, like
we ignore.
If we ignore things, part of that's true. Ignore the flags. But also, like, you know, when we try and hold somebody accountable and they're not willing to hold their part of the accountability, it's time to say goodbye. And that's so hard. Like literally all those relationships I had in the past probably would have been done in like 1 minute if I were like, if I was like, oh wait, they don't want to be accountable for their own actions or their role in this, and they're okay with me just taking the blame for everything, or me internalizing everything and just like trying harder to make them love me. Like, that sounds exhausting just saying it again right now, you know? Like, it's hard.
But that's definitely unfair anyway. No one, you know, I think it's always nice. Like I said, I give them the benefit of the doubt. And then if it doesn't, like, you know, pan through, whatever. But, like, I think, yeah, I know for myself that it's definitely, I'm happy with navigating how I am now. I feel a lot better, like,
me too.
you know, navigating this whole realm of like, you know, it gets me to be able to talk to people. And even I'll share, even yesterday I was talking to someone and then they wanted to meet up. And then I guess they must have went through a breakup because they were just like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. And they were like freaking out. Like they actually called me and they were like crying. And I was like, whoa, I was like, so like
that escalated real quick.
You never, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like you never know who you meet. So be careful out there, folks. You never know who you meet. And then they ended, I was like, and I told them, I was like, hey, like, no, we don't have to meet up at all. I was like,
no pressure. You're obviously going through something right now.
I was like, we don't have to like, I was like, you want to chat? You don't want to chat? You whatever, like, you know, and you know me, because that's how I am. I'm just like, hey, you know, I'm like, it's kind of like an empty seat here. You want to sit and talk? You can, if you need time, whatever, like, fine. But they ended up like, it was a lot for them emotionally, I guess, because they ended up like blocking me or unfriending me. And I'm like, no. But I knew that it was them.
Yeah,
like
that was them. Yes,
I was
absolutely.
definitely, I was not even a little bit offended by it. But
I meant more in the fact like they felt whatever type of way that they felt like they had to just completely cut themselves off from me, which I understand. But still, I feel like I send that person love and I send that person, you know, grace and understanding that, you know,
Yeah.
maybe they weren't ready, and that's okay. We're all humans. We're all just trying to walk each other home, like Rumi says.
I just hope
You
they're
know?
okay.
Me too.
You know what I mean? And like, we should end soon right now. But like,
Yeah.
my buddy, because we were talking about God, and I think like this week was something that like God really spoke to me. Like, spoke to me through a situation where my buddy's been going through a really hard time, and I know that, you know, you work with the CPS stuff, so he's going through
yep.
a lot. It's such a hard situation.
Not an easy job. And what we
No,
see and what
it's-
what the clients go through, you know, what
No,
the parents go through. Yeah.
It's so rough. And you know, he believes in God and stuff like that. And when I said, hey man, just checking in on you, how you doing? He's like, terrible. And I'm like, all right, you know. And then I said, you know, I'm sorry to hear that, man. And then I was like, you know, you know, what's going on? He's like, I don't want to talk about it. I said, okay, you know. I was like, cool, man. I was like, you know, I'm here for you. You know, I'm gonna pray, and like, whatever, if you need it, if there's anything I could do, let me know. And he's like, all right. He goes, thanks, but I don't think, you know, those prayers are gonna work. I don't think God is like listening. I'm like, oh, he's like mad at God, and I get it because
Yeah.
I get mad at God. So I was like, yeah, man, like I totally, like, I gave him his space, but
Yeah.
I let him know that I was here. So I just kept texting him like around what he was saying. Like I wasn't addressing, because there's nothing to address. He's just, I could tell he's frustrated, he's angry, he doesn't like want to do anything. But I let him know, like, man, it sounds like what you're going through is super tough.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and all that stuff. And I just prayed for him. But like, I kept thinking, like, I was like, oh no, I was like, God, like, what am I supposed to do? What am I saying? How do I help? But like, God gave me peace knowing that everything's okay. And then like a couple of days later, whatever, he like writes a message in this big group chat, and he says that like, everything is, God is good and everything is good. And like, you know, oh, whatever. He's just saying like how God is good and all that stuff. And I was just like, you know, he said, I'm still going through a very rough time, but I know that God got my back. And then like, God spoke to me about like, everyone's going to be okay. Like everyone's okay. Like, you're okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
You don't need to fix anybody. You just need to be there
everyone
for
is
them. That's
like,
it.
everyone has God.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, God is like, he's the God of not just me, but everyone that I ever could worry about. Like, you know, that everyone's okay. Like, you know, it's not saying that I'm gonna die. I mean, I'm gonna die one day, but I'm just saying, like, when people feel like they can't die because they have to be here for people, but it's kind of like everyone's gonna be okay without you, John. Like, you know,
Everything is going to be okay. Everyone is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes we feel so helpless when we see people
helpless, yeah.
when we see people struggling, and we want to wave that magic wand and fix the situation. But like you've told me many times over our friendship, like, I am not going to do that or try and do that for people, because then I'd be robbing them the experience of experiencing what they're experiencing, so they can learn, grow, whatever they have to do from it. So like literally when like I think about like I don't, that's changed the way I talk to people when having that conversation with you, because when people are going through it, you know, I don't say like, oh man, I wish I could wave a magic wand and change this for you, because I'm not God. And because that would deprive them of the experience. Because if I'm a God person, which I am, you know, a higher power person, which I am, you know, I have to believe that that person is going to get through this, because they also have a God, just like you said, you know. And who am I to rob them of this experience that may change their whole life in a positive way? You know, you don't know what's going to happen, you know? So yeah, whenever I think about someone struggling like that, and the thought of like, oh, I just want to fix it. I want to fix it for you. Like, here's a magic wand. Like, that is just, you know, partly me being in the discomfort of your discomfort. Like, it's you be as discomfortable as you want to be. I can sit here with you. I can sit here with that, you know?
Now all my friends, like you included, like Matt, you, Rachel, like actually anybody that I talk to a lot, you guys give me, and what I hope that I give you is that you guys give me space. And that's all it is. Like, you know, if you're going through something, I could really sit next to you and still give you space. Like, I could still like hear what you're saying, let you vent it all out, dump it all on me, whatever. Like, be what you don't even want to be in front of people. Just let it out, and I'll be like, you know, still be here. Like, oh man, that is really tough. That is really stupid that somebody doesn't talk to you for 5 days and expects you to you know, oh, ain't it grand the wind stopped blowing, ma? Like the recovery, like it's no, like that is what we're here for, and I'm like, you guys give me that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm very happy that you give me space today. Like today, you don't try to fix me. You don't
No.
try to like do any of that stuff. And like I said, the people that I hang out with, I've tailor fitted my circle now. You
Yeah,
know,
and
and
it's
I'm welcome. I'm always
Yeah.
welcoming people. Some people don't give me space, but
Yeah.
come anyway. because
Yeah,
I-
like Christy's my new friend. Aliana, I mentioned they're my new friends. They're like, you know, like new friends the last year I made, and I think it's really cool to be able to make new friends in you know, your adult life because you know, we talk about
Yeah.
that like not everyone. Because I used to be like, oh, I'll be friends with everybody, yay, whatever. And I was even like that early in my sobriety, you know, and stuff. But also,
we'll be friends forever.
Be friends
everyone.
forever. You know, but like I've like, you know, I've learned that like not everybody is entitled to my time and my energy, and that's again not being like
Protecting.
you
it.
know protecting, but also like you know I'm not gonna be liked by everybody. I'm not gonna be understood by everybody, right? So the theme's coming up again, you know, and that you know I certainly if friends are going through it, I will be there for them, but I also am watching. Like I'm watching, like are you gonna be there for me in this way? Because if this is not going to be a reciprocal relationship and it's just going to be you draining me and me not being able, whether it's because I don't say it or you don't allow me to pour into you, like, nah, I can't do that.
No, yeah.
You know, and I feel like we have a good
For sure.
relationship in that way, that we're able to do that for each other.
Yeah. There's a saying that says if you give someone enough time, they may surprise you. So, like, sometimes people
yeah.
that were overbearing, I would come back. You know, I tried with some friends. Some people still haven't changed, but some people surprised me. Eventually, like, they stopped trying to fix me, or they were there to give me good advice, or they were just doing the way that I needed. Because sometimes I have to make boundaries with people that's like, I'm sorry, your BS. You know, if it spills over to my street, I'll let it spill over. But there's like a major point where it's like not all of it's gonna like.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have friends that are like, they have a lot of stuff, like you know, and
Yeah.
and I have God patience because it's not coming from me. Whatever patience I have, but it's not gonna be. But I'm not God, so I'm not infinite patient. Like I gotta be like, yo. But
Yeah.
we have. It's
Literally,
definitely a double episode.
This is
so.
going to be an awesome double episode.
Yeah, I can't wait to chop it up.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be. We talked about a lot today. This is what happens
Yeah.
when we don't meet just you and I in a few months for the podcast. But I had a great time. Thank you for asking me to come today. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for sharing. I can't wait to listen to it and break this up. I think both episodes are gonna be really.
I really
good.
feel like I blacked out. I have no idea what we talked about. We talked about God and relationships and my mom.
We talked about mourning.
We talked about morning.
We covered mourning. We covered like authenticity with ourselves again.
Yeah.
You know, which is like this is something. What happens is we have another 50 episodes that people may not have caught up on all of them. So like when we say stuff again,
Yeah.
this is for the new person that's just
Yep.
logging on to
This
it.
is us being of service in a
Yeah.
different way, you know, than we traditionally are in our lives, you know, because you shared with me people all over the world are listening to this, you know,
Yeah.
and the fact that, you know, people are even interested is so humbling, you know, in what you and I and our friends have to say, you know, it's a beautiful thing. And it just reminds us that like, you know, when healers come together, healing multiplies. So when you have healing people coming on a podcast together, it ripples out, you know, because energy is real. That energy ripples out to people. So I'm so glad we can energy ripple together.
We're energy ripplers.
Energy ripplers. ER.
I'm not a run arounder. I'm more like a lay arounder.
So then, John, I'll take us out. What is your final thought for today, for our podcast, the episode?
Yeah, I think I just had one right now that I liked, and now I think it just left my brain. Just as it comes, it goes.
Just like the wind.
Yeah. But I was just kind of thinking about like allowing yourself to be yourself. And that means if you are anxiety driven or isolation, I think it's a good thing. Like apparently when I isolate, apparently I need it. You know, I need to like be depressed or I need to be grumpy. Like apparently like it's happening and I gotta be it. You know what I mean? Because if I could do better, I would. So whatever it is, to accept it, because there's so much peace in just going into it. There's a lot of peace in just being like yourself. Like the bad things that you say you don't want to be, if you're being it, you're being it.
And what you resist persists. So why are you
That's one
resisting
of my
it?
favorite lines. Yeah. Well, how about you?
I think what's coming towards me right now is the issues are in the tissues and your body keeps the score. And those are not just phrases from books like The Body Keeps the Score, but it's true. Like if you're going through stuff in your life and you're not addressing it, it's going to come out in your body. So like take a breath right now. How are you feeling in your body? And if you're feeling some sort of tension or pain or whatever, like talk to it and see what it's going to tell you. It might surprise you.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Jamie. And you'll be
Thank you,
back
John.
anyway because we're having guests.
Every day. All day, every day. Yes.
Jamie's coming back every day now.
Every day.
All right, she said it.
I'll wear a different color next time.
Ow.
Ow.
All right, everybody. Peace out.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
So what's your podcast about?
Okay, this is making me feel really uncomfortable. Not like it. Is my mic on? Okay. Well then, let's go.
Hey, everyone, look here. Quiet coyote. Quiet coyote.